Princess Hannah lay on the medical bed, exhausted but smiling. She had just given birth to a healthy baby boy on Terminus 7 Station, the neutral space hub where dozens of alien species lived and worked together. The delivery room was filled with medical staff from 6 different worlds, all present to witness the birth of Valkyrie royalty. Nurse Jaiwan approached the infant with her scanning device, ready to record the standard health readings. She passed the blue light over the baby's tiny body. Then she froze. Her hands began to tremble. "Dr. Miho," she called out, her voice barely a whisper. "Please come here. Now." The head physician rushed to her side. He looked at the scanner display and his face went pale. "This cannot be right. Run it again." Jaiwan scanned the baby 3 more times. Each result showed the same impossible data. The infant had human DNA. Not similar to human DNA. Not resembling human DNA. Actual human genetic markers running through every cell of his body. Princess Hannah noticed their worried faces. "What is wrong with my baby?" she demanded, sitting up despite her weakness. Dr. Miho tried to keep his voice calm. "Your Highness, there is something unusual about your son. He has characteristics that we do not understand yet." He held the baby up to the light. The infant looked mostly human, soft peachy skin, round ears and large dark eyes. But across his tiny arms and chest, beautiful bioluminescent patterns glowed softly in shades of blue and silver. These were Valkyrie markings, the signature of her ancient royal bloodline. "He is perfect," Hannah whispered, reaching for her son. But Miho's concern deepened as he checked the neural scanner. "His brain activity is extraordinary. The readings are 10 times higher than any newborn I have ever seen. From any species." Within an hour, news of the birth spread across the station. Within 2 hours, it reached the Valkyrie homeworld. Within 3 hours, a massive hologram of Emperor Velkarn, Hannah's father, filled the medical bay. "Explain this insult to our bloodline," the Emperor roared. His image was 30 feet tall, his anger shaking the very walls. "My daughter gives birth to a human hybrid? This is impossible. She has never even been to Earth." Ambassador Daiho, Earth's representative on Terminus 7, stood before the Emperor's hologram. He was just as confused as everyone else. "Your Majesty, I assure you no human has had any contact with Princess Hannah. Our records are complete. This makes no sense to us either." "Then you are hiding something," the Emperor accused. Daiho spread his hands. "We are hiding nothing. We want answers as much as you do." Princess Hannah held her baby close, protecting him from all the shouting and chaos. "His name is Taemin," she announced firmly. "It means precious in both our languages. And whatever he is, however this happened, he is my son. I will protect him with my life." The Galactic Council held an emergency session that same evening. Representatives from 40 species gathered virtually to discuss the situation. Some called it a miracle. Others called it an abomination. Many called it a trick, a human conspiracy to infiltrate the powerful Valkyrie Empire through biological warfare. Dr. Miho placed baby Taemin in a specialized medical pod for his safety. The infant would need to stay in quarantine until they understood what was happening. Armed guards surrounded the medical wing. Not to keep people out, but to keep the baby safe from those who might want to harm him. That night, 3 different species sent messages threatening war if the situation was not explained immediately. 2 radical groups attempted to breach the station's security to kidnap or kill the child. News networks across the galaxy showed images of Taemin, debating whether he represented hope or danger for the future. Ambassador Daiho sat alone in his quarters, staring at reports. Princess Hannah had never visited Earth. She had never met a human in person before today. Yet somehow, impossibly, she had given birth to a child with human DNA. In her recovery room, Hannah watched her son sleeping peacefully in the medical pod. She touched the glass gently. "I will find out what you are, my little Taemin," she promised. "And I will protect you from anyone who tries to hurt you. You're special. I know it. The galaxy will understand soon." But neither Hannah nor anyone else knew the shocking truth that was about to be discovered. A truth that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. Dr. Sora arrived at Terminus 7 Station 3 days after the birth. She was Earth's best geneticist, called in to solve the mystery that was threatening to start a galactic war. She carried her research equipment through the crowded corridors, ignoring the stares from alien species who now viewed all humans with suspicion. In the laboratory, she examined Taemin's DNA samples under her most powerful microscope. Hour after hour passed as she studied the genetic code. Finally, she sat back in her chair, her eyes wide with amazement. "This is ancient," she whispered to her assistant Jinwoo. These DNA sequences are millions of years old. Older than humans. Older than the Valkyrie. Maybe older than any species we know. Jinwoo leaned closer to the screen. What does that mean? It means someone else designed this. A long time ago. Princess Hannah requested a private meeting with Sora that evening. The princess looked tired, with dark circles under her eyes. She had barely slept since giving birth, worried about her son and the growing political storm. I need to tell you something, Hannah said quietly. Something I have not told anyone else. I have been having strange dreams. Sora pulled out her recording device. Please tell me everything. 6 months ago, I led a survey mission to a planet called Eternum 9. It was listed as a dead world, nothing special. But we found ruins there. An ancient temple buried under sand. Hannah closed her eyes, remembering. Inside the temple there was a stone. It glowed with soft blue light. I felt drawn to it. I touched it and for a moment I felt connected to something far away. Someone far away. What happened then? Sora asked. Nothing. The feeling passed. We finished the survey and left. I never thought about it again until Taemin was born. Sora immediately ordered Jinwoo to search all records for Eternum 9. While he worked, she ran more tests on Taemin's blood samples. The results confirmed her theory. The baby's DNA contained artificial markers, genetic code that had been deliberately placed there by advanced engineering. Jinwoo suddenly shouted from his computer terminal. Dr. Sora? I found something. He pulled up old mission reports. A human archaeological team visited Eternum 9 7 months ago. They were studying ancient ruins. Sora's heart began racing. 7 months? Who led the team? A researcher named Hyunwoo. He was a specialist in pre-civilization artifacts. Jinwoo scrolled through the report. His face went pale. Doctor, he died. 3 weeks after returning from Eternum 9. The cause was listed as sudden heart failure. Show me his photo, Sora demanded. Jinwoo displayed Hyunwoo's picture on the screen. He was a young man with kind eyes and a gentle smile. In one photograph he stood in front of ancient ruins, holding a glowing stone. Princess Hannah gasped when she saw the image. That stone. That is exactly what I touched in the temple. Sora pieced the puzzle together quickly. There were 2 stones. Artifacts. You touched one, he touched the other. On the same world, maybe even in the same temple system. But how does that create a baby? Hannah asked, confused. Quantum entanglement, Sora explained. At the smallest level of reality, 2 particles can be connected across any distance. When something happens to one, it instantly affects the other. These artifacts must have created a biological connection between you and Hyunwoo. Your consciousness merged for a brief moment. Long enough to combine your genetic material. Jinwoo shook his head in disbelief. That is impossible. No technology can do that. No current technology, Sora corrected. But whoever built those artifacts was far more advanced than we are. Meanwhile, the conspiracy theories grew worse across the galaxy. 3 more species threatened to break diplomatic ties with Earth. Protests erupted on multiple worlds. Someone leaked Taemin's medical data to the public, causing panic. On the 5th day, an extremist group called the Purity Front issued a statement. They believed hybrid species were an insult to natural evolution. They demanded that Taemin be destroyed for the good of galactic order. Ambassador Daeho increased security around the medical wing. Armed guards now stood at every entrance. Cameras monitored every corridor. No one could get close to the baby without proper authorization. Princess Hannah refused to leave her son's side. She slept in a chair next to his medical pod, one hand always touching the glass. They will not harm you, she promised Taemin softly. Your mother will die before she lets anyone hurt you. Dr. Sora worked through the night, gathering evidence. She needed to present her findings to the Galactic Council soon. She needed to make them understand that Taemin was not a weapon or a trick. He was proof of something far more important. Humanity's supposed weakness, their primitive intuition and spiritual connection, had accomplished what no advanced species could do. They had bridged the impossible gap between 2 worlds. The question now was whether the galaxy would accept this truth or destroy it. Dr. Sora stood before the Galactic Council chamber, facing holographic projections of leaders from 40 different worlds. Her hands were sweaty, but her voice remained steady. The future of humanity and little Taemin's life depended on what she said next. Honorable Council members, she began. I have discovered the truth about Princess Hannah's child. What happened was not an attack. It was not a conspiracy. It was something beautiful that we have forgotten how to achieve. She displayed images of the two artifacts on the massive screens. These stones were created by a precursor species millions of years ago. They planted compatible genetic material across multiple worlds, waiting for the right moment. Emperor Velkarn's hologram leaned forward. What moment? The moment when two species could connect despite their differences, Sora explained. The artifacts created a quantum biological link between Princess Hannah and researcher Hyunwoo. Their DNA merged across space itself, creating Taemin. A council member from the Theron species laughed mockingly. Impossible. Our greatest scientists have studied quantum biology for centuries. Such a thing cannot be done. You are correct, Sora agreed. Your scientists cannot do it. Neither can ours. But together accidentally we did. Ambassador Daeho stepped forward to support her. Please explain further, Doctor. Sora took a deep breath. Advanced species like the Velkori, the Theron, and others have evolved to rely completely on technology. Your minds are logical, efficient, and powerful. But you lost something along the way. Lost what? Princess Hannah asked from her seat. Instinct. Intuition. The ability to feel connections that cannot be measured by machines. Sora pulled up brain scans of different species. Humans are considered primitive by galactic standards. We barely have faster-than-light travel. Our weapons are simple. Our cities are small. But we kept something that you abandoned millions of years ago. She pointed to the human brain scan. We still have strong connections between our logical mind and our instinctive mind. We trust feelings. We believe in things we cannot see. We sense connections across distances that machines say do not exist. Elder Counselor Borum of the Velkori spoke, her ancient voice thoughtful. You are saying our advancement made us less capable? Not less capable. Just different, Sora clarified. The artifacts needed two things to work. First, the advanced technology and biological evolution of the Velkori. Second, the primitive instinctive connection that humans still possess. Princess Hannah provided the technology. Hyunwoo provided the spiritual bridge. Together, they created what neither species could create alone. Jinwoo added more evidence to the screens. We found records in the artifact's data cores. The precursor species designed this as a test. They wanted to see if their children across the galaxy could work together. They specifically chose species at different evolutionary stages. A representative from the Krell Empire stood angrily. This is nonsense. Humans are trying to make themselves seem important. No, Princess Hannah said firmly, standing with baby Taemin in her arms. They are telling the truth. I felt it when I touched that stone. I felt another consciousness reaching across the stars. I felt Hyunwoo, though I did not know his name then. It was not technology that connected us. It was something deeper. Dr. Miho presented medical data. Taemin's brain shows activity in regions that are dormant in both pure humans and pure Velkori. He has abilities that neither parent species possesses. This child is not a threat. He is an evolution. The council chamber fell silent. Leaders looked at each other uncertainly. Everything they knew about biology and evolution was being challenged. Diplomat Jaemin from Earth's delegation smiled slightly. For centuries, humanity has been treated as the galaxy's children. Primitive. Backwards. Unable to contribute to galactic civilization. But now you see the truth. Our primitive nature is exactly what was needed. We are not asking to be elevated to your level. We are offering to be your partners, bringing what you have lost. Emperor Velkarn studied the data carefully. His anger had faded, replaced by thoughtful consideration. If what you say is true, then my grandson represents a new possibility for all species. Exactly, Sora confirmed. The precursor species wanted cooperation. They wanted species at different stages to recognize that advancement is not better, just different. They wanted us to learn from each other. Princess Hannah held Taemin up for everyone to see. The baby's bioluminescent patterns glowed softly, and his large human eyes looked around the chamber with unusual awareness. My son is not a mistake, Hannah declared. He is proof that we need each other. Technology and instinct. Logic and feeling. Ancient power and young wisdom. The council members began debating among themselves. Some were convinced. Others remained skeptical. But the conversation had shifted. Humanity was no longer being accused. They were being reconsidered. For the first time in galactic history, being primitive was seen as a strength. The Galactic Council's debate continued for 3 days. Some species celebrated the discovery and called for new partnerships with humanity. Others grew angry and afraid. They saw Taemin as a threat to the natural order, to the purity of their bloodlines, to everything they believed about how the universe should work. On the fourth day everything changed. The Purity Front, an extremist group with members from 12 different species, decided to take action. They believed that hybrid creatures violated the laws of nature. They had been planning their attack carefully, waiting for the right moment. Security Officer Minjun was walking his patrol route through Terminus 7 Station when the alarms suddenly blared. Red emergency lights flashed throughout the corridors. His communication device crackled with panicked voices. Intruders in Sector 7. Multiple armed hostiles heading toward the medical wing. Minjun ran as fast as he could, his weapon drawn. He rounded the corner and saw them, 20 soldiers in black armor, carrying advanced plasma rifles. They had already taken down 4 security guards. "Stop right there," Minjun shouted, but they ignored him. He fired at them, hitting 2 soldiers, but the others kept moving. They blasted through the medical wing doors with explosive charges. Minjun called for backup, knowing it would arrive too late. Inside the medical bay, Princess Hannah heard the explosions. She immediately grabbed Taemin from his medical pod and held him close to her chest. Dr. Sora and Jinwoo positioned themselves in front of her, though they had no weapons. The door exploded inward. Smoke filled the room. Through the haze, the Purity Front soldiers marched in, their weapons aimed directly at the baby. "Hand over the abomination," their leader demanded, his voice distorted through his helmet. "We will end this mistake quickly and painlessly." "Never," Hannah shouted, backing away. "You will have to kill me first." "If that is what it takes," the leader replied coldly. He raised his weapon. Minjun burst through the door behind them, firing his weapon. He hit 3 soldiers before they turned on him. A plasma bolt struck his shoulder, sending him crashing to the floor in pain. The soldiers surrounded Princess Hannah. There was nowhere left to run. Dr. Sora stood with her arms spread wide, trying to shield them both. Jinwoo picked up a medical instrument, ready to fight with anything he could find. The leader's finger tightened on the trigger. Then baby Taemin began to cry. It started as a normal infant's wail, high-pitched and distressed. But something else happened. A feeling washed over everyone in the room, warm and overwhelming. The soldiers' fingers froze on their triggers. Their arms slowly lowered. Confusion spread across their faces behind their helmets. What is happening?" one soldier mumbled. The leader tried to raise his weapon again, but his body would not obey. "I cannot. I do not want to." The anger drained from everyone. The hostility simply vanished. Soldiers looked at each other in bewilderment. One dropped his weapon, and the sound of it hitting the floor seemed impossibly loud. Then another weapon fell. And another. Dr. Sora pulled out her medical scanner with shaking hands. She pointed it at Taemin, then at the soldiers. Her eyes went wide. "He is projecting some kind of field," she whispered in amazement. "It is affecting everyone's brain chemistry, making aggression neurologically impossible." Jinwoo checked his own scanner to confirm. The field extends about 20 meters. Everyone inside it. They physically cannot feel violent. They cannot want to hurt anyone. The Purity Front leader removed his helmet, tears streaming down his alien face. "I came here to kill a child," he said, his voice breaking. "I was so certain it was right. But now, I cannot even remember why I was angry. The hatred is just gone." Security forces arrived and arrested the soldiers without any resistance. The intruders went peacefully, almost gratefully, as if relieved to be stopped. Minjun, injured but alive, stared at baby Taemin in wonder. Humans are studied across the galaxy for their violence and aggression. We are known as one of the most warlike species. And this child transformed it, Princess Hannah finished softly. He took humanity's capacity for aggression and turned it into something else. Involuntary absolute peace. News of the incident spread across every planet within hours. Videos showed the heavily armed soldiers dropping their weapons, unable to maintain hostile intent near the hybrid child. Scientists demanded to study this ability. Religious leaders called it divine intervention. Political leaders saw both opportunity and danger. Ambassador Daeho held an emergency press conference. Today Taemin showed us his gift. He cannot be used as a weapon because his very nature prevents violence. He is the opposite of a weapon. He is a shield against war itself. Emperor Velkarn contacted his daughter personally. For the first time since the birth he spoke with warmth. "Perhaps I was wrong, Hannah. Perhaps your son is exactly what this violent galaxy needs." Dr. Sora sat in her laboratory late that night, reviewing all the data. The implications were staggering. If Taemin could create peace simply by existing, what else might be possible? What other abilities might emerge as he grew? Princess Hannah rocked her baby gently, singing him a lullaby. Tamin's bioluminescent patterns glowed softly in the darkness, peaceful and beautiful. The galaxy was beginning to understand. This child was not a threat to unity. He was unity itself, made flesh. 6 months passed since the failed attack on Terminus 7 station. The galaxy had changed more in that half-year than in the previous century. Scientists from 20 different species worked together to study the ancient artifacts. What they discovered amazed everyone. Commander Yunji of Earth's Space Exploration Division stood before the Galactic Council with the final research report. She looked confident, proud of what humanity had helped uncover. The precursor species left us a message, she announced. Hidden in the artifact's data cores. They were testing us. All of us. They wanted to know if their children across the stars could move beyond fighting and separation. She displayed ancient symbols on the massive screens. They scattered their genetic material on 50 different worlds millions of years ago. Then they left these artifacts as keys. But the keys only work when two very different species cooperate. One with advanced technology. One with strong instinct and spiritual connection. Elder Borum studied the symbols carefully. So this was always meant to happen? Yes, Dr. Sora confirmed, standing beside Yunji. But it could only happen when the time was right. When a technological species and an instinctive species were both ready to bridge the gap between them. Ambassador Deho addressed the council with a smile. 4 years, humanity asked to be accepted into galactic civilization. We wanted to prove we were worthy. But we were looking at it wrong. We do not need to become like you. You need what we naturally have. Connection. Feeling. The courage to trust what cannot be measured. Princess Hannah entered the chamber carrying young Tamin. The baby was 6 months old now, healthy and alert. His bioluminescent patterns had grown more complex and beautiful. He looked around the chamber with curious eyes. My son represents our future together, Hannah said clearly. Not humans becoming Velkhori. Not Velkhori becoming human. But both species creating something new. Something better. Emperor Velkarn stood from his throne for the first time in years. He walked slowly to his daughter and grandson. The entire galaxy watched through live broadcasts as the powerful emperor knelt before the baby. I was wrong, Velkarn admitted publicly. I called him an abomination. I threatened war. But now I see the truth. My grandson is a gift. A bridge between worlds. He looked at Ambassador Deho. The Velkhori Empire formally proposes a permanent alliance with Earth. Not as masters and students. Not as the advanced teaching the primitive. But as equals learning from each other. Cheers erupted throughout the chamber. Even species that had been skeptical began to reconsider their positions. History was being made. Diplomat Jamin wiped tears from his eyes. Humanity accepts with honor and gratitude. Then baby Tamin did something that shocked everyone. He reached out his tiny hand toward the gathered holograms and spoke his first words. But they were not Korean. They were not Velkhori. They were somehow both and neither at the same time. Together stars sing. The words were simple, but every species present understood them perfectly. It was as if Tamin spoke directly to their minds, bypassing language entirely. Dr. Sora's scanner beeped frantically. He is creating a linguistic bridge. His hybrid consciousness can communicate meaning without traditional language. Universal understanding through pure intent. Jinwoo made another discovery in the artifact data. There are 12 more artifact pairs out there. 12 more chances for different species to merge. To create new bridges. New possibilities. The news sent waves of excitement across the galaxy. Suddenly, species that had been enemies for centuries began talking. Archaeological teams from multiple worlds started working together to find the remaining artifacts. Everyone wanted to be part of this new age. Princess Hannah carried Tamin to the large viewing window. Outside, stars stretched infinitely in all directions. Look, my little one, she whispered. This is your galaxy now. A galaxy learning to connect instead of fight. Commander Yunji announced humanity's next mission. Earth will send exploration teams to help find the other artifacts. We offer our instinct and intuition freely to any species willing to work with us. Dozens of species immediately volunteered for joint missions. The galaxy was forming partnerships that would have been unthinkable just months ago. Dr. Sora sat with Ambassador Deho in the station's observation lounge, watching ships from different worlds dock together peacefully. We did it, Deho said quietly. Humanity finally found its place in the galaxy. No, Sora corrected with a smile. We showed the galaxy that every species has a place. That primitive and advanced are just words. That we all have something valuable to offer. Young Taming grew sleepy in his mother's arms. His bioluminescent patterns dimmed softly as he drifted toward sleep. Around him, the galaxy was changing. Wars were ending. Treaties were being signed. Species that had never spoken were now working together. All because one Velcori princess and one human researcher had touched ancient stones and created the impossible. Princess Hannah looked at her son with infinite love. You are the first bridge, Taming. But you will not be the last. Other children will come. Other connections will form. And slowly the galaxy will become one family. Through the window, Earth gleamed like a blue jewel among the stars. No longer a primitive backwater. No longer dismissed or ignored. Humanity had arrived, not through weapons or conquest, but through the most powerful force in the universe. Connection. The age of isolation was over. The age of unity had begun. And little Taming, the hybrid child who should never have existed, slept peacefully as the galaxy transformed around him. The stars were singing together at last.